yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. How is everybody doing? Legends, let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin because it is looking very interesting. We got some new information that I want to provide here on this live stream about Bitcoin. Of course, we do have very interesting news. Make sure to destroy the like button, guys. If you do enjoy the content, we'll be analyzing the situation. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and we'll be going straight into the charts right away, guys, and analyzing the situation here together. Okay, let's say hello to the beautiful community that are joining in right away. Hello Davide, let's go. Hello legends. Gusim123, hi. Looking for 150x leverage, please advise long or short for fast money. Let's go. We can talk about some possible scalp scenarios. Yesterday we talked about this rejection happening potentially. I was not too interested in this level, but overall it would have been a good short entry here where we were getting the rejection at a naked point of control. This was from the price action. When we do get the session volume profile, guys, this is an indicator that you can find here on the top left in indicators, SVP, which is the session volume profile. Depending on what exchange, of course, it may differ. You want to use a large exchange such as Coinbase, Bybit, Binance, okay, with high volume. You can see that high volume node that got rejected here yesterday throughout this 115.4K zone did get the rejection of over $4,000. Now the overall question is the low in? Has this been the low, guys? Does this look impulsive? Are we looking for a correction to finally get that leg to the upside? We are mainly bullish from this correction. The overall question is the low in right over here, or has the low been created? Okay, or will the low be created again, getting another dip to the downside and form that double bottom? Okay, we are bouncing right away just in the last hour at another naked point of control. This was from the price action that was created on Sunday, just dipping down, hitting that naked point of control, getting a quick reaction bounce of $500-600. Okay, so really it's level to level. You can have different strategies to trade. Here we mainly use Elliott wave theory to look at the possible projections and the highest probability movements that could happen. We're looking for that bounce to develop potentially in the next coming days to get to 116, 117K plus, right? To see if we can get a beautiful rally to the upside. And that is just with the theory that we need another wave. We got the bounce wave here. We got this potentially that can be the corrective wave, and look for another wave up, regardless if it's going to be corrective or if it's going to be a massive impulsive move. We're going to start breaking out with volume and some steam, and that's what we are taking a look at. Remember, the price action on the higher time frame, lower time frame does move either in 3 waves or in 5 waves, and this is what we're trying to detect in this zone. Could this be it with the bounce that was created here from last Sunday? Is this the first initial wave? This is the B wave or the second wave on the formation. We are getting some pretty interesting bullish CVD divergence, okay, that might give us that advantage of the price moving to higher levels. We are going to be discussing the higher time frame, guys. Very important to realize what are the different scenarios. And I have seen, okay, throughout the Legends Pro community, as mentioned yesterday on the live stream, you know, some discussion of what if this is a 1-1-2 scenario. But even on this time frame right over here, can this be a 1-2 and this is another 1-2 setup, right? And we are just bubbling up here. This is a correction. Market structure is still very bullish, right? Is this a possibility? We have to give it a chance. And I'm going to explain on this live stream why there is a chance, guys, of this being a 1-1-2. However, your wave 4 is extremely small. It's a small baby wave 4, right? And this mapped out on the chart is basically this right over here. So you got your wave 1, your wave 2 in a complex WXY. Your wave 3 and your wave 4 is extremely small. If you want to consider this being an impulse that has finished, we were leaning on the side that this is a 1, 2, 3, right? You need your 4th and 5th wave. However, we did get that pullback a little bit more aggressive. The main reason why you would not lean that this is your favorite scenario is because your wave 4 is extremely small, okay, in price action and also in timing, right? It hasn't hit basically the minimum target, most common target zone, which is at least the 236 Fibonacci, right? Taken from your wave 2. Your wave 2 has to be taken from these higher lows. It's the only level. You can't go higher eventually as you break. And taking that Fibonacci retracement, we did not even hit the 236 Fibonacci on this small little triangle, right? And this small little corrective move on your wave 4. We can label it based on structure, but the timing and the retracement pullback did not hit the kind of minimum requirements. I mean, it's not 100% must, guys, right? This is only looking at what is most common, all right, based on timing, very shallow in time as well. We probably just about scratched the 0382 Fibonacci time from that wave 2 to the wave 3. Yeah, we basically just about scratched it. So the timing is just about in there, okay? However, the retracement was very, very shallow pullback. Can we consider this a completed wave? Technically, we can. Based on structure, we can. The timing and retracement based on Fibonacci is shallow, okay? Now, this is the conclusion, right? What if this is a 1-2 and a 1-2 right over here? And what we are looking for is that smashing breakout, okay, entering into September, right? Maybe throughout August. We have to give it a chance, right? We would have to give it a chance. I wouldn't lean on this being the highest probability scenario just because of this wave, okay? It does not fit in properly based on timing. But with this scenario on the higher time frame, what we would be looking at is 1, 2, 3, 4, and your fifth wave is an expanding fifth wave where you have your wave 1 being developed, and now what you're forming is consistent 1-2s, 1-2s, which is totally fine because the highest time frame wave 1 and 2 has to be the largest one. Then the second, third one can, if they're smaller, that is when it looks good. And yes, we have the second, third wave being smaller from the largest one, right? So this is the speculative, most bullish case scenario that there is here inside of this parabolic trend that we are forming on Bitcoin, because it is quite parabolic and the overall higher time frame structure is still very good, right? It's still very strong. We do have the Elliott wave counts. The last wave was not too convincing, guys. We're just trying to fit in here the most bullish case scenario that we have to give it a chance. We have to give it a chance regardless of the bullish case scenario, not, the most bullish case scenario that would be this one, not playing out, okay? We are still looking for new all-time highs, and I'm going to be explaining why we are looking for new all-time highs again in the very near future, potentially in the next coming weeks. The probabilities lean that a new all-time high is very likely, okay? Regardless if it's a strong breakout, it's a wave 3, or you're forming this contracting diagonal that we've been discussing as well throughout yesterday's stream, right? This is also a possibility. The main reason this could be a possibility discussed yesterday is that you could have a double zigzag right over here in your wave 1, zigzag right over here, zigzag here in your wave 3, zigzag in your wave 4. We're going to find some support in this region and then form that zigzag move to the upside. This eventually would be, eventually we would be looking for another pullback later on, right? And this could be the moment where people are saying bear market, right? This is it. However, if we lean with this scenario, it might just be another double 1-2. You have your 1, 2, third wave, fourth wave, okay? And the fifth wave is still being developed, where you have your 1-2, 1-2, and then, entering into end of the year 2026, just getting that breakout in your wave 3, and then 4-5, 4-5, up we go to higher prices. So yeah, if we were to form this contracting diagonal throughout the next coming weeks to finish that wave 5 and we get the pullback and it is corrective structure kind of development, we could definitely lean on the side of holy moly, guys, this is probably more bullish than we think, right? It's just a few different scenarios that can develop in the higher time frame, right? Of course, higher time frame can be, overall the market structure is bullish, guys, right? We could not deny that. It is still very much bullish. Now, of course, another scenario that could be developed is this one right over here. However, this one does not fit in very nicely. And the main reason why this one does not fit very nicely to end this five wave structure, okay, inside of the last leg up of the bull market, which is an expanding fifth wave, ending up in a contracting diagonal, is we have one problem with this ascending contracting diagonal to finish this wave 5. And that is the wave 1 of your wave 5. These waves have been developed by 3 wave down, and for the moment we got a 3 wave up. Now this movement to the upside since the wave 4 looks incredibly impulsive. You can really see how you formed aggressively a 5 wave structure with multiple 1-2s on the development and then 4 5s throughout the end of this massive uptrend. So this, we are not labeling it as a 3 wave structure. It fits in much better as a 5 wave impulsive move. So we're having some problems inside of this contracting diagonal to finish this wave 5. They need to be developed with 3 wave structures, all of the waves, okay? For the moment, we only have these 2, right, which are 3 wave structures. This one right over here is a 5 wave structure. So we have a problem with this. Could there be a way of counting a double zigzag inside of this area? Very, very rare, guys. You know, it just does not fit. And as it does not fit, we are not taking it into consideration for the moment. And this would have to be getting a pullback, pretty aggressive pullback to the low 100K levels, okay? So we're not considering this scenario. Is it possible? Yes. Is it low probability? Yes. So it's just there, right? So what we are going to be focusing on this live stream is really the, I think it's relatively clear throughout the last couple of days that what we are discussing here is a significant bounce to be developed. And one of the main reasons why is because the most bearish case scenario, which is successfully breaking to the downside. Now we might have a little bit of a discussion here because we kind of broke down a few $1,000s here, but it's not really a massive impulsive move down, right? I got a little bit of the timing and the projections a little bit wrong here, but overall I don't see this as an aggressive breakdown, right? It moved down $2,000-$3,000 max from the lows that were created here on the 25th of July. And we're still leaning on that scenario. I am mainly more bullish because I do read this more as a corrective structure, okay, for many weeks right now. However, we got a little bit of a scary dip, all right, that was bringing people a little bit in doubt, okay? We had the tariff situation and, different, bad events happening. They kind of got a little bit of that fear pushing the price a little bit lower. So the probabilities for the bearish case scenario, and it's going to be simple, guys, low probability to get a significant breakdown where you do have your wave 1 here and your wave 2, very large complex WXY, and then the start of a major impulsive move down, all right, for your wave 3 right over here that should be in the development, right? Not looking too great. For a wave 2 to be 5-6 times longer than your wave 1 is very, very rare. Low probability most of the times. If your second wave, which would be this one inside of the box, is much longer than your first wave, in this case to the downside, you preferably want to give the advantage to the corrective structures. You know, maybe an ABC, maybe a WXY. Either they label this as a wave X or a wave B, has higher probability based on timing. They are usually much longer than your first move, than a wave 2. So just with that theory, we need to give the advantage to your corrective kind of structures of waves. In this case, it would be a wave X or a wave B. Just because this wave right over here, which was very complex, we're not finding any impulsive moves to the downside here. They're very corrective, very three-wavy. There's just not a way to count any other impulsive move down rather than this one, right? There's no major impulsive moves in this structure. So all of this is just pretty clear a sideways complex correction, which is labeled as a wave W right over here, a wave X right over here. There's another zigzag. You got one more low right over here, and then a flat structure running flat. You got a 5-wave move up here. This is why we got a little bit confused with this scenario. It's like, yeah, it can be an impulse, but it could also be a C wave inside of your wave W of this complex WXY, right? Very, very complex, rangy structure. All right. So all of this is a corrective wave. Starting your next move to the downside, in this case, would be this push to the downside, legends. Okay. And that's what we're focusing. So low probability on this scenario. This scenario, low probability to successfully break down to much lower levels. Okay. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but it has less probability on what I explained. Wave 2's very long in timing compared to wave 1. Not very common at all. Not very common at all. Most commonly, we do get some kind of a corrective structure. Right? And now, this is what we are discussing here, right? This is what we are, discussing inside of this range right over here. Is it possible? Is it possible that the end of this correction is in? Absolutely. It does have the, it does look better for this to be the end of the correction. You may ask why. Well, basically what we're looking at here, okay, is the potential of this being a ABC down. This a large complex correction as labeled before. Instead of labeling this as your wave 2, we are labeling it as your wave X. And then you have your zigzag down ABC to the downside. We do like very much this movement here. This movement here looks absolutely awesome. This movement right over here looks really, really good to potentially be a finished structure. And the main reason why this was, I might be sounding like a broken record, guys, but overall, the overall general idea is to potentially form a higher low in this area, right? As explained, 50% golden pocket to 7-8 zone, very, very possible higher low zone, okay? To get that leg to the upside. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, would be actually rolling down, and I would be extremely interested in a double bottom here, guys. I would be longing here the bounce with stop loss at the low eventually to really look for that major recovery. Maybe the recovery is going to happen. This is potentially the corrective structure that we are looking for to form our next wave to the upside. That's the overall general analysis. This is what we are discussing throughout today and why this is very much a good chance that this could happen. And that is basically looking at this end of the movement down in your A wave, your bounce in your B wave, and your last wave starts from this pivot, right? And the most interesting thing is actually analyzing the structure on the slightly lower time frames, right? You did form a lower high just after the first leg down, and then your strongest move down is this one, which we always want to try and label as your wave 3. And then eventually what you're looking is for your 4 and 5, right? Where the 5th wave is, potentially a contracting diagonal. It is just getting, you know, you got a 5-wave move here. We discussed the contracting diagonal not fitting too well here, but there's a slight overlap. On some exchanges I did check out that it did not overlap from this pivot. So it was not really an overlap on some exchanges from your wave 1, if we are labeling this as your wave 4. So yeah, this is what we're looking at. Your wave 5 eventually getting that exhaustion, which is what usually happens after a, you know, a large wave up, right? You get that 5th wave getting exhausted, not breaking out successfully, and then you look for the reversal. This is what we're looking at, but on the, you know, reverse chart, right? To the downside. Big move happening to the downside here throughout Thursday, last Thursday. Wave 4, nice and long. That's what we want to see. And then your wave 5, not really breaking down successfully from the lows, right? Not getting a major push, just like your wave 3, which is giving us the idea that this 3-wave move down on the higher time frame to label a large WXY could be at the end stages, right? This is the end stages before we get that big fat bounce of, you know, several $1,000s. The bearish discussion that we had yesterday was, what if, you know, the bearish momentum here is going to succeed? Well, the bearish momentum to succeed, as we discussed, and we were almost scratching. So, you know, this is why the bears probably defended this pivot. You know, we talked about this on yesterday's stream. If the bears really want to have an attempt in pushing the price to lower levels, they need to defend this pivot low, because this pivot low, we are labeling it as your wave 1, and this is your wave 3, entire wave 3 right over here. If your wave 4 overlaps the wave 1, gets in the territory here and hits the golden pocket, we are already invalidating here the very bearish case scenario, which would be breaking down later on to test these lows. I mean, regardless, we would still be looking for a significant bounce. Regardless of what scenario happens, even though coming down to test this low, we already have the biggest wave down, which is the wave 3. And after a wave 3, eventually you want your wave 4 and your last wave 5 to then get a significant rally, very commonly to get above your wave 4. This is, you know, this is like the bread and butter, right, of Elliott wave theory, where most commonly you do get that leg to the upside and you do hit the wave 4, right? If we just take a look here at basic, you know, line Elliott wave theory, when you finish your wave 5 right over here, your corrective structure, most of the times, the C wave, right, or whatever wave it is, very commonly hits the wave 4, right, which is a target zone. So this is like, it would be a reverse trade, right? Reverse from trend trade, where you are looking for that wave 5, right, to push down, and you are looking for that bounce potentially to target those lower highs, right? Anyway, we do have that chance. We need to discuss this internal price action. Now, of course, the chart is not letting the price action be very easy to read, unfortunately, but we need to give a chance for this to be an impulse. We need to give it a chance. So this price action that we are forming right now, we are really trying to figure out, is it going to be a corrective structure? It does look a little bit corrective. It does have the chance. We are bouncing at major levels, the naked point of control from last Sunday, right? I mean, this was a trade setup that was mentioned today in the Legends Pro community. We're probably, you know, hitting that VWAP at the moment, or, you know, dancing around at the VWAP basically, which is always a take profit zone for a scalp. So when you do take a look at the session volume profile, you can see, I mean, yeah, for any of those DJs out there that are looking for scalping, naked point of control right over here from last Sunday. If the reaction is met, you're testing the lows of today. It's a possible sniper long on the reaction, stop loss at the low. Your first take profit is the VWAP if you're scalping. VWAP is just, is the level, right, to take profit if you reject or you bounce from major levels such as this naked point of control. So it's a nice little move of, I don't know, what is it, about $700-800? If you're using a 50x leverage, then you can make some gains here. You're risking 1% to gain 3%, right? You're happy. You may be leaving 1% just in case the low is in. Why could the low be in here? Why could the low be in? Give it a chance, right? You always want to try and get in at the lowest level possible on your trades for a long, or the highest level possible for taking advantage on the rejection, unless you trying to speculate on the corrective wave, which is kind of what I am, trying to speculate on here. But you always want to try and get into a short on resistance or a long on support, right? Getting into a sign of strength, it is hard, and it's mainly for the higher time frame. It's mainly more for swing trading when you're looking at a sign of strength. For scalping, the best scenario is short at resistance levels and long at support levels, right? Naked point of controls is a very good example here in this scenario. But when you're looking for a sign of strength, well, what you're looking at here eventually is a 5-wave structure. Now, we do have a problem here with this 5-wave move up. There are many ways to count this as a possible 5-waver. There is an expanding diagonal possibility, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There is a few ways in counting this as an impulse. That's the overall general question right now. I would give it a chance, even though it's the most horrible, overlappy, choppy price action. I would give it a chance for an expanding diagonal, and I would give the chance here for this to be corrective. And this is the movement down that we really want to focus on right now, okay? Because, the low could be in, but if we were to roll down here, what we could be looking at still is a correction, okay? So I'm going to discuss where are the interesting zones potentially to get into a long and speculate on a higher low, right? And, look for the next leg up, even though the low could be in. This is the moment that you really want to speculate on that higher low. At support levels, at the golden pocket, at the 50%, you want to always try and attempt at this zone with good risk management, because the one that does play out, right? Be defensive with your stop loss, entry, stop loss at the low, right? Very, very small stop losses. If this turns out to be the low, then you can be very defensive with your stop loss. The projection is hitting the high and potentially breaking out. That is the possibility. So longing the lows as we come lower here is good attempts on the reaction at support levels. If the price decides to break down, well, you're managing risk very, very well, right? You are managing risk. There is a way of counting this as a possible correction or an impulsive move. This is why the chart sometimes gives you some difficult moments, right? Difficult moment right over here. You could, stick in a double zigzag structure in this zone. You can stick in an expanding diagonal, which are rare structures. So, it's a bit of a discussion right now. And what you want to lean on is this movement down, right? Does this look corrective? And this is what we are going to discuss at the moment. First of all, getting into your first pivot high right over here. Your pivot high from this range. And unfortunately, you do have a bit of a 5-wave structure. So yeah, it looks impulsive to the downside, right? It doesn't look too great. So with that, okay, you got your wave 4 right over here. Nice consolidation, not overlapping from that pivot 1. All good. Everything leans out that this is a 5-wave structure to the downside. What is going to be interesting here, okay, what is interesting right over here is this local price action. Now, as we do have 5 waves down here, you always want to try and label this either as your wave 1 or your wave A. I don't know. You got your bounce, very quick, very sharp. You know, can we label this as your wave B, or is it too soon? Well, generally it would be too soon. It's a little bit too fast for this to be a B wave or a second wave when you take a look at the timing, right? Timing is important always on the chart, guys. Timing is important. Yeah, this B wave or second wave did finish before the 382 Fibonacci, if we're considering this the impulsive move down. So too shallow in time, not the greatest option for this to be a B wave, because if this is your A wave, that's your B wave, right? You're looking for a C wave, you're looking for an ABC, right? Is this it? Is the low in? We're going to get the rally. The problem with this B wave, you know, it was a little bit too quick. A little bit too quick in time. So preferably your B wave is not in yet. Preferably your B wave is not in, and potentially we go to lower levels. It's very much a possibility, just because this is very fast compared to the movement down. So still need a little bit of information. The possibility of an ABC flat here is there. This to be a wave 1, this a wave 2, this another wave 1, wave 2, and then you break down. Like you know, as mentioned, this did happen a little bit too quick. However, we're gonna give it a chance here for it to be the B wave. This the C wave, or are you gonna manage here to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you have your A, B, and C. This possibility, we really need to see how we react if we break down from that naked point of control, because the golden pocket and the 7/8 Fibonacci would be your last line in the sand here to get a higher low for the bulls and get that bounce. Okay, golden pocket, we can see the 50% Fibonacci did get a nice reaction bounce of $1,000. This was early this morning. 50%. That's taking Fibonacci from the low to the high. Beautiful reaction at the 50% Fibonacci. Then we got another leg down to revisit the naked point of control from Sunday's price action. We got a consolidation here from Sunday, and that's where we reacted. So we're reacting to these levels, right? 50% Fib, naked point of control, they are both getting the bounce, right? They are both getting the reaction bounce. The golden pocket will become our next level if the naked point of control fails. If the naked point of control holds, well, yeah, potentially this could be the low, even though it's a fast ABC. It's a little bit too fast in my, in my opinion. You know, preferably it's a little bit more symmetrical where your B wave is probably not in, and you know, you could be forming a triangle zone here in your B wave, get a breakdown, and then it's a much better ABC, right? And then we look for that reversal. But the whole speculation here in this area is to really maintain this zone as support. Look for the price to bounce as support here, with the general idea of the bullish case scenario, always managing risk, always considering the bearish one. We still have a bearish case, but we need to give the chance for the bulls, because where there is a very valid count for this 3-wave structure to finish as a WXY, and your ABC could be finished in this zone. Okay, it could. You need to give it a chance. And if it could, what is the level after the reaction bounce to get that bounce for a higher low? Which is the zone that needs to hold? It's in between the 50% and the 7/8 Fibonacci from your latest bounce. So 50% is holding with that naked point of control. It is trying to hold. We've been getting some reactions today at that level, bouncing $1,000, got back down, naked point of control, bounced another $700-800. So it's getting choppy. and it's overall reacting. Okay, when you compare the price action, this one to this one, this is faster and this is slower. We already, with that information, need to give a chance here that, hey, this is looking corrective just because of the timing, that this is slowing down, right? It is slowing down compared to this uptrend, which has a little bit of more intentions than this movement to the downside, right? And that's just the participation here of traders, the bears and the bulls, right? I like the idea that there's, the bulls are participating here much better in this strong rally that we had since Sunday, right? Than the bears here, right? They are trying to push the price down, but it's getting these bounces. So, this is the area of interest. This is the area of interest. 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci. 50% is making a good job today. It is trying, it is bouncing, it's reacting. If we lose this zone, the golden pocket is going to be our next level. It's going to be our next level to see if we do get another bounce and a failed breakdown from the previous low on the lower time frame. So yeah, you can take that with a pinch of salt, but basically what you would want to see is some kind of a swing failure pattern here, right? And get acceptance. It would be relatively quick. We will remain a little bit patient to see that reaction here if you did not get into a trade already here at the naked point of control. So golden pocket reaction, aggressive long. You're really looking for that reclaim of naked point of control, reclaim of the low. If you break down successfully here, the 7/8 is the last line in the sand, right? Last line in the sand. You got that zone over here, 7/8 Fibonacci, and that is to speculate that a higher low is possible here and take out yesterday's highs. This is, this is what we're looking at the moment, guys. This is what we are looking at. Okay, who is feeling bearish? Let me know in the comment section. We have to give the bears a chance. We have to give the bears a chance because we are holding the last level that we mentioned yesterday. We do not want to overlap this pivot. This pivot is extremely important for the bears. Whoever's still in that short position from this area, right, at the 50% Fibonacci from the last swing high to the swing low, you need to give the bears a chance as well, right? You need to give the bears a chance where you have your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 over here. This, instead of being a C wave, it's your third wave, and your fourth wave most commonly gets in between the 382 and 50% Fibonacci and tops out. That's where we kind of created the resistance yesterday, and it's kind of topping out. 50% holding, we're getting the push down. Let's see how we dance around. If we do test the golden pocket, guys, it could be a possible sniper long. Okay, it could be a sniper long position. I will be ready to take action here on stream for that possibility. Giving the chance for the bulls. Okay, we do have the bullish CVD divergence. We got some crazy maniacs longing on Bybit like crazy. The delta was extremely positive, about 9-10 million long positions just about an hour ago. Screw you guys. Who was longing in this area, longing late, creating those local bearish CVD divergence, which are just asking to get stopped out, you lunatics. Here on Bybit in the yellow, some Bybit maniac going full on long here, creating those bearish CVD divergence. Thank you very much. Get a push down back to the lows. Screw you, Bybit players out there. Bybit, some Bybit traders always ruin the party here on CVD. It's very, very common to see. Very, very common to see those divergence on Bybit ruining the possibilities either for the bears or the bulls. They always come in here and, get into massive long positions on the momentum to the upside, and they ruin the party. Anyway, the bears have a chance. The only levels of interest now, for the only level of interest for a long here, guys, for me would be the golden pocket. The golden pocket to check the reaction. If golden pocket is aggressively broken, then eventually we are looking at the 7-8 as the last resort level, okay? If you break down golden pocket, not interested. If you break down 7-8, not interested. We're looking for the lows to be claimed. And then is where we are going to be paying attention here to get that reclaim, get the exhaustion at this zone, a bit of volatility. And here's where we're looking for that full-on reversal. That is only if we break down aggressively, right? So the only two levels to take action here would be the golden pocket and the 7-8 Fibonacci. That VWAP here locally has been providing that resistance. Right, VWAP, it is a take profit zone. It's a must take profit zone if you bounced here at the naked point of control. Right over there. Naked point of control reaction. Quick little scalp long here, as you can see, of $500-600. Very good indeed to scratch some dollars off the market. So now with this push down, not looking extremely great. Anyway, structure. Yeah, I would rather wait for an attempt of breaking down here. Would rather wait for an attempt of breaking down. Remaining patient is one of your best tools in trading, guys, right? Instead of rushing in or getting into a wrong trade. I think the golden pocket here is an important level, as it is always an important level, and that would still lean on the possibility of leaning this could be corrective, right? 50% failing for the moment, being revisited a few times. Golden pocket is going to be our next potential level that is going to be interesting to check the reaction for a possible sniper long position. Be very defensive. Could it be the one that gets the recovery, or is it going to break down? That's what we're going to see throughout today's live stream, guys. And we are going to be going through the comment section. We've just set an alert here below the lows that have currently been created to check that reaction for a possible scalp bounce, okay? Let's go right away through comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Let's go, legends. How is everybody feeling today? Higher time frames is important. Lower time frame is what we're discussing right now. Can this be the rally, the first major leg to form a higher low in this region? Golden pocket, 7-8. It has to be the zone. This is the box that needs to hold for our next leg up to claim the highs of yesterday. Okay, it's a projection, it's a possibility. Either golden pocket or 7-8 would be our next options here to look for that bounce. Okay, now it would be interesting. It would be interesting because the trend breakout, any trend breakout traders out there, from this lower high, and this lower high right now becomes an option. Say that we only revisit right now the naked point of control, or we form a small little double bottom, which becomes a little bit risky, guys. The more you visit a low, the more riskier it comes to get into a long, because it gets weaker, right? So the first bounces, the first touches are great. Second touch as a double bottom, is an option. But when you chop and hit it, you have the risk of it breaking down, right? Which this is why it does not become too attractive right now to try and long here at the moment, because you're revisiting this low very quickly throughout the last few hours and it becomes risky. Could it react and bounce? Absolutely. The main reason why this trend line breakout as a trade becomes interesting at the moment, entry point, right? Or entry point here, stop loss at the low, targeting the highs and higher, is because you have the three-wave structure. You got that movement to the downside right over here that does fit in nicely as a 5-waver, the aggressive bounce, and now a possible 5-wave down, right? 5-wave down here locally. Possibly, if it is going to be, if this is a double 1-2, then we have a problem. 1-2, 1-2, and then third wave is just going to collapse. You know, there is that risk here eventually. So we're going to have to remain a little bit patient if we do get the breakdown. Golden pocket is an attempt. It is aggressive. But depending on what happens here, what we are trying to spot is that 3-wave move. This is why we got our first leg down, our big bounce today, and now back down again, revisiting the lows. There is a proper fitted 3-wave potential here. And this is why if golden pocket is not hit, or the 7/8 Fibonacci is not hit, and you might think, oh, I was waiting for the golden pocket, or I was waiting for, you know, the 7/8 Fibonacci, or I was waiting for it to drop down, reclaim the naked point of control and get into a long. And it just slightly taps the low and suddenly gets a recovery. This trend breakout now becomes interesting for the long trade. And the main reason why is because you have that potential of a 3-wave structure finishing. So if you missed catching the low, right, in this case, it's either you put risk on the table to try and catch the low. You know, it is a little bit risky at the moment. I would prefer golden pockets, but I am aware of if we do suddenly start gaining some momentum here, bullish CVDs, bullish market structure, right? The long position of the trend breakout could be definitely an option. Getting that alert right now as we move down, revisiting the lows again. Let's see if this does push down. Not quite hitting the golden pocket right now. Not quite hitting the golden pocket just yet. So this is why whatever happens in this zone, if you're not feeling confident, right, that this is going to get a reaction, or we're going to bounce at the golden pocket or the 7/8, this, if it does recover, the trend breakout becomes interesting because you got this wave up. You're trying to label this as a corrective structure, and the trend breakout here, I'm not much of a trend breakout trader, but it becomes a solid option, realizing that you do have a 3-wave structure. So price is pushing down at the moment. The S&P 500 is potentially dropping down as well. The correlation between the stock market throughout the last few weeks has been insane with Bitcoin, guys. Massive correlation that we have had throughout the last few days with Bitcoin and the stock market. Same bounce from Monday, same rejection, consolidation, and same rejection happening in the last, couple of hours from today is basically being mirrored by Bitcoin. Golden pocket right now on the touch. Golden pocket right now is on the touch here. We just at the golden pocket. Would be nice to start trading above the golden pocket. We are in that golden pocket right now as we speak. Let's say hello to the beautiful community. DACTube, good morning. Andy and crew, much love to you, brother. Hey, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to destroy the like button, guys. Oh, inside of the golden pocket, there is a little bit of risk here based on a 1-2. You got your 1-2 and your smaller 1-2 for that third wave. Want to be a little bit cautious. Your golden pocket is getting a small little reaction. But it is breaking down aggressively, okay? It is breaking down a little bit aggressively from that low. Yeah, not looking too great. Not looking too great at the moment. getting a reclaim of the naked point of control from Sunday, right? That naked point of control would be a good option if you do get a nice reclaim of the level. And then this could be the end, right? This could be the end stages of this possible correction, right? This is the zone that needs to really hold on. This is the area that needs to hold on. Golden pocket or 7/8 Fibonacci. So we need to be paying attention here throughout the next coming 30 minutes or so, right? Even in the next hour, on how the price does react to this zone. And if we do get some local bullish market structure reclaiming the naked point of control, you know, that's the moment that we could be speculating on that possible breakout, right? This would be the ideal scenario, that we change a bit of local bullish market structure here locally, reclaiming the naked point of control to be a little bit more confident, longing on the dip, you know, at golden pocket or at the 7/8, you know, becomes a little bit of a risky attempt. You need to manage risk like a beast here. You're going against the drop and flipping a little bit of bullish market structure here, reclaiming the naked point of control, you know, would give you a little bit of more confidence eventually on the possibility of getting that rally to claim those highs, right? This is a level that is a little bit aggressive. Let me know your take. Of course, this is the moment where, you know, the bears are very, very much excited for the possibility of claiming those lows of last Sunday, right? Because there is still that chance for that wave 4. Whoever got into the short position yesterday, congratulations, absolutely great. The 115.4K level was the rejection zone, right? We did have that consolidation from last Friday, naked point of control. We got the rejection, guys, from this level, right? It was a naked point of control and the last level for the bears, right, to not give a chance, okay, for the bulls, right? This low has to be defended, which it was, right? Hitting that naked point of control, getting that dip now of $2,000 from that high. So the bears are really attempting the scenario, right? Let's take a look at the CVD. Oh my goodness, there we go. Bybit longs entering right now. Also, again, who's longing, right? Who's longing here? We don't like to see those bearish those bullish CVD, bearish CVD divergence. We're getting some longs entering on Bybit quite aggressively, which eventually is not good on the local possible recovery. Let's go through the comment section. Okay, we'll be spotting. This is only for the brave, only for the aggressive people that are, you know, if you want to keep it more chilled, I mean, all depending on your strategy and your risk management. But this is the zone, right, for the local bulls if they want to maintain a higher low, right, and possibly change that market structure. You know, this is really, really the zone that needs to hold for the bulls, right, to maintain a higher low in this region. So you're gonna have to give it a possible chance. Give it a possible chance, but we are moving down pretty aggressively right now with the stock market getting that drop. Okay, so yeah, a change of structure locally here would be the ideal scenario. Right? If you move up, right, you change the downtrend structure. Here, you change the downtrend structure. You got this downtrend structure right over here. If you get some signs of changing it, right, not dropping down, that's the moment you want to, you know, participate in this movement, right? That's the moment that you want to participate to this move to the upside. Moving down aggressively, I mean, eventually your hard invalidation for this scenario would be this scenario, this level over here. Depending on your risk management, this is your invalidation, and still, eventually, I would be interested in getting into a long position as explained on a double bottom here. You got another naked point of control at 111.2K. That level is a naked point of control from an order block that we have right there. Price action from the 10th of July. it would be eventually the best option to get into a long. If we were to aggressively move down here, unless we change market structure here, that is the scenario. Boom, higher low. Local bullish market structure would be ideal here at this zone to start thinking into longs. And this move would be relatively fast, okay? So not to worry. The thing is, going against the level, trying to catch the low, that's, you know, when it becomes a little bit aggressive. Changing bullish market structure here, reclaiming the levels, holding the zone is where you want to have that attempt to then move up. And this movement will be relatively fast, right? Similar to this or even faster, right? So, but the proof of support and not breaking down here successfully is going to give you a little bit of that confidence, right? A little bit of that confidence, reclaiming the levels, and then, you know, try and get into that push to the upside, right? Participating in this move. So yeah, for the moment, the price is dropping. It is breaking. The stock market is dropping also throughout the last hour. Getting a smaller reaction here at the lows, at these higher lows right over here. We've got a couple of higher lows that could be just liquidity grabs. For the moment, we are getting a smaller reaction at this higher low right over here on the S&P. A good level for Bitcoin, okay, is if you are looking for the double bottom scenario, right? We are moving down at the moment, so it is, you know, pushing down a little bit aggressive at the moment. We want to see proof of support, a little bit of reversal signs. Bullish local market structure on the 5-minute time frame, right? To really see that we are holding this area. If the price successfully breaks down to hit this low, the best option for the lows to bounce is either a double bottom. Would be very interested in getting into a long position on the double bottom. It would just be that liquidity grab. I am aware of looking at a 5-wave move down to finish. Okay, I would be looking for that 5-wave move down to finish right over here. You know, at the end of the day, this would be looking at an A, B, and C, okay? Zigzag. Instead of this being the low in that A, B, C here in the WXY, we would be looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. And a 5-wave structure inside of the C wave instead of a 3-wave structure inside of the Y wave right over here. Right? That's if we do not hold, we do not maintain, we do form some bullish market structure, we need to give the other chance. And then this zone would be the extreme high probability bouncing area. Either in a double bottom and missing out that order block naked point of control, or actually coming down to it. And this is the reaction zone. This is where I'm going to go heavy long inside of the naked point of control reaction and look for that reversal throughout the next coming days. Either double bottom or either revisiting the low. And this is where I'm going to take advantage on the highest probability bounce that there is, you know, on this movement down. So yeah, let's see, we're just currently dropping down. Small little reactions on the lower time frame, small little reactions here, dropping down. A reclaim of naked point of control, which is no longer naked eventually, but it's the level that has been reacting today. A reclaim of that zone could be the moment that I would be interested in getting into the long, okay? This could be very, very interesting for that long position. I would be labeling this as the 3-wave structure to be finished. If we do get that bounce inside above the naked point of control, that is the moment that I would give the chance for the bulls to get that leg to the upside, okay? So you're either aggressive in trying to catch the falling knife at the Fibonacci levels, golden pocket or 7/8, which eventually becomes dangerous, realizing the downtrend, realizing the bearish case scenario, right? We still, the bearish case level was still pretty much intact, 50% with the naked point of control. Whoever got into that short position that from the level that we mentioned yesterday, congratulations. You know, it is moving down. You probably took profit. You probably protected position. Got stopped out at break even. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you are still holding that short from the rejection of the naked point of control. So let's see, we're just moving down right now. A change of bullish market structure here to get back above the recent lows would be ideal. Would be ideal to flip the scenario, and then we're giving the chance for this. Then we're giving that chance. 3-wave structure. Will it be finished at golden pocket or 7-8? Golden pocket getting crossed right now at the moment. So yeah, 7-8 is the last line of support here for that possible 3-wave structure. Bullish CVD divergence is being developed from the lows. So I mean, that is eventually a first good initial sign. You know, you got lots of shorts entering the market throughout multiple exchanges. So we need to give a chance. The next information that we do get in the next couple of hours could probably give us that high probability trade setup. You know, the next information that is given, if we were to get that recovery back inside here, that's the moment that we would have the possibility for this. But price is dropping down aggressively into the fib levels. Let's go through the comment section. I'm going to set some alerts here to the upside to see if we do reclaim the naked point of control. And then we'll go from there. Let's go through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. How many likes do we have here? Almost 200 likes. Let's go, legends. Absolutely awesome to see the community. 150 likes. That's not too bad. Over 500 people watching. Let's go. Expected, Lorenzo. Expected. Can you look at CBD? CBD divergence. Yeah, CBD. We've been having a little bit of problems on Bybit. With the CVD, we got some aggressive longs entering on Bybit, which eventually have been created some bearish CVD divergence. We had lower highs on the price action here, lower highs on the price action, and unfortunately on Bybit, we've been getting higher highs in the yellow here, as you can see, right? Higher highs in the yellow right there. Also higher highs right over here in the yellow from the recent lower highs, right? That is not good. That's not what you want to see. There's too many longs entering here on Bybit. And you can see it on the delta where you do have the bounce of today, right? This bounce right over here, 11 million long positions entering on this movement up, and another 10 million on this little bounce. And obviously they're getting punished. Those people that are longing early, late, sorry, right? Not or early if you wish, right? They are longing here early into the bounce, not realizing that this possible correction is not finished yet. They're just getting punished at the moment before potentially getting that reversal, guys, right? So, you know, the information that comes next throughout the next coming hours is going to be absolutely crucial to really take a chance in participating on the possibility of the leg here to the upside, right? It is breaking down. It is moving down, right? So it becomes a little bit risky. There is a bearish case scenario, which is like you want to kind of sit on your hands. The golden pocket has not held very nicely at the moment. So you want to kind of sit on your hands here ever so slightly. And the best option right now would be getting that reclaim, getting that big bounce. And then eventually you would not label this as an successful impulsive move to the downside as soon as you come up here and start reclaiming this zone, right? This is why this correction could be the very interesting one. If the bears are gonna succeed, they do want to succeed kind of in this move, right? Or get a small little bounce, not reclaim the level successfully, right? And you form a double 1-2, 1-2, bang, third wave, 4-5, 4-5, right? And that's where you you get the reaction here at the naked point of control, or you reclaim the level here, right? You want to see them really pushing down throughout the next coming hours. The moment the price reclaims the level with a nice bounce, that is the sign that this is no longer bearish. This movement down is no longer bearish. They've lost their chance. The recovery bounce is too aggressive, almost hitting the lower highs here. That is the moment of excitement. That's the moment where you know that you have a high chance of this getting developed next. But we need to see them showing up, right? If they don't show up, then, you know, bears are in control at the moment locally here. Let's go right away. Random shenanigans from market makers. Absolutely. Back up from here, says Jerome. I mean, yeah, this is the last chance, basically, right? This is the last zone here to take that chance on the possibility. If we are going to give the chance here for the bulls for a higher low formation, it is mainly in between the 50% and the 7/8 Fibonacci. And yeah, 50% and golden pocket are failing for the moment. So the last level is 7/8 Fibonacci really for a higher low. The moment you start crossing the 7/8 Fib and not holding it as support, I think the bulls will have a, you know, I think they are gonna show up. I think they are gonna show up, right? So this becomes a level for the 𝗬𝗔 traders, right? I have faith that this is the first leg up. I have faith that this is corrective, right? It does look choppy. There is a 3-wave potential here. And then eventually your first initial sign of strength would be reclaiming that naked point of control and getting an awesome rally. You know, you can long later on here and put stop loss at the low, you know, and give that chance of the breakout to take profits at the highs as you're breaking out. It will just give you a little bit more confidence, right? Reclaiming the levels, getting an epic bounce in the next coming hours. That looks good. That looks good. You already have a 3-wave structure. You're already hitting the, you know, common corrective Fibonacci levels. You have a 3-waver. Next move up that gets close to the lower highs, reclaiming naked point of control from here. That's the moment it's going to be looking quite interesting to, you know, potentially participate in that movement to the upside. But the bulls need to show up, that is for sure. Market makers, shenanigans, and there is awesome good news around the world, guys. We can go through the news later on. Power of the 7/8, says 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍. Well, that is the, you know, power of the 7/8 needs to come into play next, which is only a couple of $100 away. The power of 7/8 Fibonacci is literally just $200 away, 300, which is sitting at 112.7K. The power of the 7/8. Will the 7/8 be the one that defends, right? And the bulls kick in. We need to hit 116K to invalidate the bearish case. Until then, everything is on the table. Even 108K, put on mascara. Very true. We cannot deny that we are downtrending. Okay, we are downtrending throughout the last few weeks. It is a downtrend. It's a speculative, corrective structure out of this big momentum that we had to the upside throughout July. But part of July has literally been downtrending, right? And the overall idea here was looking for that correction, guys. You know, we're still moving up on the higher time frame on bullish market structure, and the general idea is, you know, is this the correction? Is this another correction to get that leg to the upside, right? Very choppy, very overlappy. You know, that's the overall general idea. Big pushes up. The pushes up are leading the way throughout the last few months. And the movements to the downside are very, very choppy. They're very, very choppy, right? So, you know, still leaning with that idea, guys. The overall question is, throughout the last few days, you know, is this the low or is it not the low, right? Or do we get one more low right over here, hit this naked point of control order block, you know, and form that double bottom? The technical analysis would really suggest that a nice big bounce is very, very likely from this area, and I would be willing to participate on the first initial sign of strength of the bounce and looking for a higher low. And it all comes to this latest move of the last few days. It all comes to this latest move. The big move has happened. And if the big move has happened already, okay, a big move to happen here to the downside is unlikely. And that's just going with mapping, you know, the Elliott wave theory, big movements with volume. So this is why we come to that conclusion that if you do revisit the lows of last Sunday at 112K, the probabilities of getting a reaction at this area may be a little bit wicky, because there's going to be a lot of interest of long in here. You know, you might get those nasty little wicks. Okay, it can get choppy. But overall, the probabilities here to get that reversal purely based in a wave 5 termination here, because the wave 3, the big wave has already happened, right? This happened a few days ago. We already got that big move down. So following up with a big move down now, okay, to get to 110, 108K is, you know, a low probability scenario. So this is why getting down to the lows, looking at the levels on where to bounce, right? Naked point of control got the rejection here yesterday. Naked point of controls are the bread and butter, basically, of levels of resistance and support. Yesterday, the naked point of control that we discussed was the wall, right? It was that wall ending up in this rejection today. So the next naked point of control that we do have is sitting at $111,000, basically, 111.1. And that's just revisiting, claiming the lows right over here. Okay, just as you potentially hit that level. It could be an aggressive long. It could revisit again, right? It gets choppy. Everybody gets wicked out. What the hell's going on? Very bearish, choppy chop. You know, but overall, you know, you can give a little bit of distance on your stop loss, and you could be looking for a larger projection to the upside to at least claim, you know, 100, the highs of yesterday, and even 120K zone, right? You know, this is the overall general idea here, understanding the price action. So the bears got the chance here. Yes, you know, the bears got the chance, and for the moment they are winning. They are winning, right? Yesterday we talked about this scenario right over here. It's the last level. Anybody that wanted to participate in a short position, then you had the naked point of control and the 50% Fibonacci with stop loss at the golden pocket, basically, as your invalidation or above this low, sorry, at 115.8K. And yeah, that level was defended indeed yesterday. So anyway, let's see. Probably we're at the 7/8 Fibonacci right now. Last level of support. 7/8 Fibonacci on the touch, guys. 7/8 Fibonacci is on the touch right now, but it is dropping down pretty aggressively, right? Pretty sharp move down here with a bit of increasing volume. We still need to give the bulls a chance, right? So if the price does, you know, 7/8, guys, you know, this is like for all of those Degen traders out there, 7/8 is being touched right now, and it is getting a little bit of a reaction. It is quite aggressive. I really like, you know, the confidence that I would have in the price reversing is getting a major rally here and coming up to this area. This is the moment that I would really have to label this as an ABC or a WXY, potentially double zigzag. There's a bit of a zigzaggy move here. If we get this epic bounce to get back above the naked point of control, right, and we do get that little consolidation potentially. This is the moment that it will be looking extremely good for that reversal, right? It's that last piece of the puzzle that you would have to get that confirmation, to get that breakout and revisit the highs. It's the last piece of the puzzle here to, you know, execute that trade with confidence, right? Unless there's some degens out there that want to long the 7/8 Fibonacci. But yeah, this would be such a great trade, because you had the movement up from Saturday to Sunday, Monday, part of Saturday, Sunday, even part of Monday here. You get in the Monday to Tuesday, possible correction. And you have already that possibility of a 3-waver. Now, this 3-waver needs to finish. It needs to finish. If not, we follow through and we end up with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenario. Right? And then this is the area of interest, as mentioned. Claim the lows, naked point of control. I would be very much interested in that, swing long position in this area. Yeah, but for the moment, this information, if we get this information in the next coming hours, it will very, very likely be the moment that it does push out through here to claim yesterday's highs, right? It will be the moment. So, I mean, it's going to be crucial to get this. And this would bring that confidence on getting the push up, just because if this were to be bearish, you want to see that follow through as explained here. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, right? You want to see follow through here on this third wave. Very aggressive, start breaking down, right? I mean, this would be the moment that you would detect that this is the end of this, larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as explained throughout the previous live streams. But this is the moment. Either the bears push through and claim the lows, or they reverse back inside here. If they reverse back inside above the naked point of control where we have been bouncing today, it's going to be game on for the bulls, in my opinion, to at least get above yesterday's highs and potentially attempt to go to higher levels. So, I mean, and this is the first initial wave that we want to participate. Right, because then you get the 3, 4, right, 5. The price really kicks off. It does end up with a 3-wave move, but participating on the blast off, it's already a little bit late, right? You want to try and get in at the early stages of the sign of strength, and this would be the early stage of sign of strength here for that confirmation reversal. Kind of confirming that this is a 3-wave structure in the end, after getting this bounce, right? Getting to 114.5, 114.4, right? That would be like the really, really confirmation, high probability. If you get that pullback, would be a good opportunity to get in. Would be a good opportunity to get in. I mean, that's only talking about, the short. Eventually right now is just not interesting, guys. The interesting shorting level was yesterday, right? The interesting shorting level was yesterday, right? This bounce, 50% Fibonacci, we are labeling the possibility for that 4th wave to get developed. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, your wave 4 has to top out here at the 50% Fibonacci without overlapping this pivot low or the golden pocket, which is your invalidation, basically your stop loss, if you wish. And shorting, obviously, down here is just not really an option. It would either look for a reversal sign of strength, or, if you enter a trade here, it is aggressive, guys. The 7/8, it is the last line of support. If you want to be a bottom catcher and have smelly fingers, your invalidation is the low. If your invalidation is the low, it is aggressive. it is an aggressive long. A higher probability long position would be getting that bounce. Okay, would be getting that bounce here. Massive sign of strength, realizing that this no longer is the bearish move down. And that's where, this is the area where you want to participate. Because you realize that that third wave structure, three-wave structure is finishing here. And I mean, you can long later on here on the recovery. Stop loss is the low. You are targeting the highs and, you know, potentially even slightly higher. You know, one-to-one extension most commonly. It doesn't really matter where you enter on that sign of strength. You know, you just need to manage risk accordingly. Don't go all in, right? You're always risking in between 1% and 3%. But yeah, that first initial sign of strength would be the ideal scenario. You can long a little bit later, regardless. Once you get to the lower highs, you know, long here. Risk to reward is not going to be that aggressive, that great, but that would be the zone of interest. And, you know, if we do follow through to the downside, I will be waiting patiently for the lows to be hit. The lows to be hit. And look for that finished move here to the downside to chop out in your wave 4 and 5. Because if we're labeling this as your wave 4, this is your wave 2, right? 1, 2, 3, big wave down. 5th wave, you are going to see it not succeed the breakdown. You know, it's going to be one of those liquidity grab situations likely. And you have the low and the naked point of control, right? And this is the zone of exhaustion. This is the zone of exhaustion and of eventually that recovery that would be expected in the coming days. So, yeah, there's a little bit of the scenarios at the moment. So we are pushing down. The 7-8 is really doing its best. It is doing its best to try and hold. And let's go through the comment section right away. So validating my logic has regained my sanity, brother. Much love to you, AC. Good sir. I'm not sure what I would do without you, Andy. Much love to you, brother. Yeah, I mean, bouncing, yeah. The sign of strength here would be the ideal scenario. You know, this is like this would be the best option for the bulls eventually. You come up here to this level, you have high probability you're going to reach this high at some point. If you get a little bit of a V-shaper here, then that was it, guys. You know, this movement down, it was it. That was it. If you get close to these highs, it would be an absolutely awesome opportunity. Then the degen traders, you know, catching the 7-8 Fibonacci, you know, it is risky. It is risky, of course, guys. Bounce off the daily point of control, hopefully. The Bybit boys ruined it. Jerome, absolutely. We did have some longs entering on Bybit. They're still ruining the party. You know, there are some, you know, the Bybit bulls realize about the golden pocket and the 7-8. Do realize that this zone wants to be defended because you're going to have a wave of stop losses being hit at the lows, right? And the bulls do not want this low to be claimed, right? The bulls don't want the lows to get reclaimed because that's when all of the stop losses are going to get, you know, basically triggered. And eventually, as you get the stop losses triggered, that's when you get the bounce, right? That's the zone where it bounces as well. So it's already, it's like the bears win, and then it's time for the bulls, you know, to get back into play. I mean, although some same bears are getting into longs, right? I mean, depending if they're day traders or not. BTC to 40K, let's go. Oh my God. I mean, I haven't sold enough Bitcoin. I only sold 10%. I am sitting at about 25% cash. Rest 75% of my net worth, really, if we do not count real estate and cars and rest of it, or watches, is in crypto. So I haven't sold my crypto yet. Hopefully we don't go to 40K, my man, because I will be riding down. I've only sold 10% of my Bitcoin. It looks good, guys. I mean, with these drops, it still looks good on the macro structure. There's no reason to panic at the moment. As mentioned, the successful breakdown has a low probability, okay? So there's no reason to panic yet. No reason to panic. I am looking for new all-time highs to happen in the next coming weeks. I am a little bit skeptical of the all-time highs being broken very aggressively. There's a lot of different scenarios, contracting diagonal. There's, many different not as bullish scenarios as explained on the higher time frame. There's a few not too bullish scenarios, right? There's this one right over here. I mean, which could end up quite bullish because this would just be another wave 1 and then 2. And then, we continue this. I mean, when you zoom out, guys, we're still very much maintaining even local bullish market structure, right? The higher time frame daily swing lows, right? Swing higher lows are getting maintained very, very well. It's literally still in a parabolic trend, right? And the bullish market structure throughout the last few months is bullish. The structure throughout the last few months is bullish, right? Where's that ring here to put that, that parabolic movement here to the upside, right? It's still very much in parabolic, right, momentum. So anyway, let's zoom in here to the lower time frames and discuss what is going on through the comment section. Let's put some background music. Let's go through comment section right away. It does look like 7-8 does not want to hold, guys. It's looking punchy. It's looking aggressive. Whoever shorted from the naked point of control here yesterday and is still maintaining that short has taken some profits, but overall defensive with their risk management. Congratulations, whoever shorted here, guys, at the naked point of control, taking that chance of the rejection. Very good indeed. That's it did reject very nicely right now, over $2,000. Make sure to lock in some profits, be defensive. And now we're going to have to wait for the sign of strength, wait for the bulls to kick in right now, reclaim that naked point of control. That's going to be good. That's going to be good. I would be willing to participate right over here. Yeah, legends, I got something to say. Today is my birthday. Today is my birthday. Let's try and get to 300 likes. I think what you can give me for my birthday is likes, guys. What can I ask for? But it is my birthday today. I'm turning 35, and I decided to do a live stream as well on my birthday. Why not? I have a boring life. Thank you very much, legends, for the wishes right over there. Thank you very much. I tell you what, we're doing I'm going to do a 15% discount, guys, for the people that wants to join the Legends Pro community. Happy birthday, 𝗖𝗿𝗆𝗍𝗍. Very much love to you, my brother. Much love to everybody. Thank you very much for the wishes. I'm turning 35 today, guys. I'm getting old. Much love to everybody. Getting that like button destroyed on my birthday would be the best thing that you guys could give me, okay? So thank you very much for that. Anyway, let's I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to do a 15% discount for my birthday on the Legends Pro community, okay? Whoever wants to join the Telegram Legends Pro community, make sure to join the Telegram down below, and we'll do a birthday discount of 15%, okay? If you haven't joined the Telegram down below, make sure to join, and we will get you that discount for my birthday to join the Legends Pro community, where there's, there's signals, there's updates, there's, basically analysis every single day from myself, 𝗬𝗍𝘆, and other coaches that are there. All right. Much love to everybody. Feliz cumpleaños, Jay Smith, Quantum, Adonis, Lilolme, Jones, Imagine reading all of these different names, guys. Some names are very difficult. Jerome, much love to you. You don't even get gray hair, bro. You are not old. Thank you very much, my man. Yeah, trying to eat healthy and doing some sports. Okay, legends, make sure to drop off. Drop here some coins if you wish. We'll be analyzing. Let's see if that 7-8 does hold. Let's see if we do get that first sign of strength getting back above here and almost hitting these highs. That would be a very, very interesting sign of strength here to then get the push to the upside. The 7-8 Fibonacci longing the dips is only for the brave, guys. I used to be braver when I was younger, guys, but not that brave anymore. Rune, please, Andy. I do have Rune in my portfolio today in the Telegram. I actually shared my portfolio, guys. I've shared my entire crypto portfolio in the Telegram. Okay, literally just shared my portfolio. I did an overview of where I got everything, because I have cryptos, guys, on wallets that I don't even know from the previous cycle. And I mean, you can screenshot this, guys, if you're not in the Telegram. You can join the Telegram, free Telegram down below. But today, I was doing a recount of everything, the cash that I have on the cryptos, and really going through all of the cryptos and putting it all together in value, on dollar value, right? And this is what it turned out to be. There's so much messy coins out here that I'm holding from the previous cycle, which is Illuvium. I've got some Illuvium that did get a bit of a bounce, but that is still in the loss, I have to say, because Illuvium got absolutely destroyed. But have you checked out the chart of Illuvium? I just saw it as the trending crypto of today. It got a massive rally out of nowhere, but this one got devastated. My average entry zone on Illuvium is around about the $35 range, guys. So down on this one big time. Down on this one big time. Hopefully we do get that recovery. But yeah, this is the portfolio, guys. This is the exact portfolio that I have of crypto. 58% Bitcoin. When I put everything together in cash value, this is the percentage that leans out right now. So yeah, let's go right away through BTC dominance forming a triangle on the 4-hourly time frame. Let's take a look at that right away. Awesome with the lights, guys. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Okay, much appreciated, guys. I do really really appreciate that a lot. Okay, let's go to the Bitcoin dominance and take a look at what is going on here. On the Bitcoin dominance, somebody's saying that we are forming a triangle. Happy birthday, brother. You are liked. Paul, thank you very much, my man. Umar, much love to everybody. Bitcoin dominance forming a triangle on the 4-hourly time frame. Let's take a look at this. A triangle, an ascending triangle, 4-hourly time frame. I guess you are discussing this range of the last few weeks on the 4-hourly time frame. Ascending triangle. Or a wedge, do you mean? I'm not sure what kind of triangle you are talking about here. There's no lower highs. You're probably talking about an ascending wedge. What looks interesting about this, about the Bitcoin dominance, is that it does very much look like that we're forming a fourth wave here. Okay, you got your first initial push down on your first wave 1s and 2s. The big breakdown, that is the moment right now. Dead cat bounce. Right, wedgie structure, boom, breakdown to the lows, which we are going to get a little bit of an altcoin, right, recovery potentially, if we revisit these lows and get a nice solid move down, then a bounce, and then maybe September, October, guys, that's when we get the wave 3 down, right? Hopefully, right? Hopefully we do get that wave 3. We are interested in the wave 3. When is the wave 3 going to happen? Well, it's probably going to take some time. If this is your first initial wave 1, we are expecting a little bit of a bounce and then the aggressive sell-off for the wave 3 on the Bitcoin dominance. And finally, the altcoin season that we all want and we all deserve, guys, right? We all deserve it. I am holding Chainlink since Bitcoin reacting at that 7.8 Fibonacci. It is reacting at the 7.8. 7.8 doing the job. I'm holding Chainlink, guys, since 2019. I bought my first few Chainlink when it was $1.60. Okay? This area right over here of 2019 is when I was starting to buy my first Chainlink. Which was, yeah, an interesting journey for Chainlink, because Chainlink is the only cryptocurrency that I've been buying throughout 2019 and 2020 that I did not sell on the rally. It's the only one that I did not sell, guys. So I rode it all the way down, rode it all the way up, and rode it all the way down. Here is where I bought most of my Chainlink. I reaccumulated again. I didn't sell. I always thought, you know, it's time to buy more. Bear market is in. Look, you know, consolidation is on the formation here for an accumulation. And this is why it is currently 12% of my portfolio. I even have more Chainlink in dollar value than Ethereum. And I'm going to start selling at above $30. You know, that's my game plan already. I was saying all-time high throughout the last few years. I'm going to hold, but I am tired, guys. I've been holding this for over 6 years now. Well, if you count this 3 years, the new accumulation zone. You know, getting tired already. Hopefully we do get a smashing breakout, and this turns out to be a double 1-2. So this is why everything's looking good, guys. Everything does look good on the altcoin season. When it happens, guys. It happens fast, and it's just a few months of a major rally. It's just very fast and aggressive and ferocious, and then bear market. So, you know, this has to be the moment. If it does not happen into the end of the year, you know, we're missing something in this cycle, right? We're missing the last leg up of the cycle. We're missing the last leg up of this cycle. You know what is interesting and that is a little bit disturbing is the Google trends here, which is I'm getting pissed off with this because we are seeing retail FOMO. Bulgaria are the number ones, guys, worldwide in buying altcoins. Did you know that? Bulgaria is, I don't know what's up with Bulgaria, but they're into crypto massively. So the search on altcoins in Bulgaria. And then Países Bajos, which is Holland. Holland number 2, Santa Elena, Nigeria, Slovenia. They're all searching for altcoins like crazy. And we are going to be hitting all-time highs on altcoin search on Google. And we haven't even started rallying. So, I mean, this is very disturbing. You want to see this spiking up when we get the rally. FOMO in, right? Which is, you want to see retail coming in late, not coming early. If they come in early, we're never going to get an altcoin season, right? That's the kind of the idea here. Tired and old, Andy, I get you. Yes, my man. I'm just tired. Bulgaria mentioned. Absolutely. Are you Bulgarian, my man? Yes. I actually have an apartment in Bulgaria, in a ski resort. Can you look at Pepe? Yeah, we can take a look at Pepe right away. Why not? Anybody that is from Bulgaria will know Pamporovo. Pamporovo is a ski resort. And I go there a few times every couple of years to go skiing. Got some awesome skiing pictures there. Slopes, sorry, not pictures. Let's take a look at Pepe and see what's going on with Pepe. Come on, Pepe. You can do this. If Pepe needs to hold here, I kind of like where it is at the moment, right? Let's get Pepe here on the technical analysis on Coinbase and start looking at the levels and the overall structure. Oh my goodness, Pepe's at an awesome level. It is at an awesome level. Basically, it is at this point of control from this massive range where it is getting a reaction. The rally looks pretty promising here, if you ask me. It does look pretty promising to actually hold this area. It's probably just at the 7/8 Fibonacci. Not even hitting it just yet. Golden pocket and 7/8. I think this is not a bad zone for Pepe accumulation, guys. Remember, we want to buy the pullbacks, right? You do not want to FOMO in on the pumps. We've been pulling back for the last few weeks. Couple of weeks right now. You know, that is the moment. If you told me that Pepe was possibly going to get a bounce when we had this price action, we can actually take a look at the replay here and cut this off, right? Is Pepe going to get a bounce here, right? From the lows to the highs, golden pocket, revisiting the highs here. I don't know, you know, is it probably going to go to lower levels? This was the zone where Pepe got the bounce. This is the zone where Pepe got the bounce. We can see the development here throughout the month of July, how it bottomed out, changed market structure locally, and it got that rally. So what is interesting now about Pepe is this does look impulsive, guys, I have to say. 1, 2. Whoops. Oh, that was the replay. Bullish market structure, your wave 3 and your wave 5. It does look pretty promising here. For this to be a 5-wave structure, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little 4, 5 in this area. Right over here. With another spike to the upside. So it does look very 5-wavy. And this movement to the upside does look pretty promising as well for a 5-wave structure. I mean, when you take a look at this price action, you got your bullish market structure with your first initial 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then your third wave. Look at this blast off that it had back in July. Very, very explosive move up, guys, here. You always want to label the biggest move as your wave 3 with the highest probability. And then eventually you have your 4, 5s, 4, 5s, right? So at the end of the day, what you're looking at here is a 5-wave impulsive move. So, I mean, yeah, this is the zone that needs to bounce. You are hitting the naked point of control from this area. There's nice consolidation with this uptrend momentum. You're almost hitting the 7/8 Fibonacci here from this movement up. I mean, this is literally the correction that you want to speculate on. And if this turns out to be a 1, 2, 1, 2, this is the zone where Pepe needs to bottom out to then, you know, finally get that recovery in the next coming weeks eventually, right? To get that, you know, next leg to the upside. It's literally in the zone based on the technicals and based on the lows that we have here from March of 2025. The recovery looks bullish. The recovery does look bullish here. Retracement and the leg up that we had in July looks better as an impulsive move than a corrective move. So, I mean, Pepe is literally at the zone. Pepe is at the zone of bottoming out, and you got that nice high volume node point of control from this consolidation where it's actually getting the reaction. So a recovery on Pepe here, guys, is very much a possibility. And we taking into consideration the local bullish trend of the last few months to be, you know, the ultimate recovery, right? We can zoom out here on Pepe. Oh, Coinbase doesn't have more data here, unfortunately. Let's take a look at Pepe on crypto. Zoom out. Yeah, this is muy interesante. Muy interesante. You got the initial leg up on Pepe. Look at this. Then the next leg up here on Pepe, and then this one and this one. Right? You're literally forming, you know, 5-wave impulse. Being a little bit quick here. Retracing to your wave 4. Very common. My goodness, guys, you know, let's go to the logarithmic here, because this is literally what I talk about on I mean, logarithmic does not really count, but you know, you're having overlap here even on your, oh no, you don't. This is literally a 5-wave impulsive move on Pepe since it started. I mean, we've had an altcoin season, guys. We like it or not. Look at this 5-wave structure, perfect textbook 5-wave structure. Big move up, big consolidation, next big move up on your wave 3, large consolidation, wave 5. The ultimate question here would be, most commonly, as mentioned, when you have a 5-wave impulsive move to the upside, your correction after the 5th wave most commonly gets to the wave 4. That's where we bounced. Now you might think, isn't it this better to see as an ABC, and it's actually going to be quite bearish? I mean, there is a chance of counting this as an ABC right there already. It would be a bit too fast, too quick. But what can we say? You know, the movement up looks quite bullish. I would say that the low here could be in for Pepe. For Pepe. Oh yeah, Pepe. It could be in for Pepe. Because the movement up locally in the last few weeks, basically in July, it looks bullish, guys. This movement up does look more bullish as an impulse. It's the last line of support anyway, so it either holds here or it doesn't. If you start breaking down to this low, then no bueno, right? Unless you get an awesome reaction. Let's take a look at some other cryptocurrencies right away. ADA, please. Pepito, ¿qué pasa, Hugo? Oye, tío Pepe. ¿Qué pasa contigo? Let's take a look at ADA here for a legend and see what's going on. Tío Pepe, ¿qué pasa? Let's go right away and take a look at ADA. Let's get the logarithmic out the way. ADA. I like ADA where it is. Extremely corrective structure, guys. After this move pump and dump that we had in the middle, guys, this no longer becomes any type of bearish trend, okay? ADA to hit the new highs of 2024 at $1.30. Extremely likely, just because of this big fat mess. This is corrective, you know, corrective price action. It's corrective price action, and it all points out with this massive leg here to the upside out of nowhere. You have a clear 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, and another 3-wave, 3-wave down with all of this. Very, very complex kind of correction. But this was confirmed with this 3-wave down. You should have followed through, boom, 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 and 5-wave, to be quite bearish. But overall here on ADA, corrective price action. This, we mentioned this about XRP several weeks ago. Who remembers XRP when we were trading in this zone, giving the chance of this to be an impulse? And this is a corrective structure. And we're looking for the leg up, regardless, claim this high at some point. Because we understood that what XRP was forming here, and bear with me here, guys, because I want to explain this on ADA. I'm just pulling out XRP because it was one of them that we were calling for new all-time highs, which did happen throughout, July, is because you formed a big leg down here with high volume. If this is going to be your wave 3 with high volume, you want a consolidation and a wave 4 and 5. But if we would have had this price action, then then eventually it's more difficult to realize where the low could be. But as you do have a 3-wave move down, and then you have this kind of price action without claiming the low, overlapping this pivot, hitting above the golden pocket from the high to the low. There's no longer becomes there's nothing bearish about this move, which we were very much vocal about in the last few months, saying, guys, this is going to hit all-time high at some point. Because, we realize that there's no type of impulsive move here. It's all confusing, choppy, corrective structure, a WXY. And, we were labeling this being the low potentially. This structure did count okay as a possible impulsive move. I mean, we did do the counts here as the possible, wave 1, wave 2. Yeah, I can't remember actually on the counts here where we were labeling 1, 2, 3. Yeah, possibly with this first leg here to the upside. We got a little wave 1, 2 right there, 3, 4, 5. And ultimately looking for that break here to hit the new highs. And when the whole thing here about, I don't want to go through XRP, is ADA had a similar price action throughout 2025, where you realize that all of this is corrective price action. It is overlapping. There's no major 5-wave structure to the downside. This volatile move is a clear sign that there is, buying interest after the major rally. And it's just a long, complex, volatile, little bit of craziness. And, potentially the low could be in here on ADA. And what we are interested in here is to form that higher low in between the 50% and the 7/8 Fibonacci. It is the zone, right? When you get a rally, and you correct down, the level where you want to bounce is 7/8, 50% to the 7/8. Obviously this one, tapping down to the 0.88 Fibonacci, which is, you need to give it a chance as well. Right over here, as this movement to the upside on ADA does count better, hang on a minute, as an impulsive move. But wow, yeah, I mean, this movement to the upside, I mean, come on. This movement to the upside here on ADA does look more impulsive than corrective. High volume on the movement up. I mean, yeah, this is absolutely textbook, guys. Textbook impulsive move right over here, where you have 1, 2, 1, 2. Third wave, the strongest wave with the highest amount of volume, followed by your 4, 5, 4, 5. This is a textbook impulse to the upside. Textbook impulse right over here, guys. the probabilities of forming a higher low on ADA in the next coming weeks are extremely high. I mean, this movement down is still to be discussed. I mean, it might form a double zigzag. It might take a little bit of time. Zigzag down, you might get a bit of a mess here, then another zigzag down, right? It might take another couple of weeks potentially. But overall, it depends on your risk management. This would be a starting zone to be interested in swing longs, guys. 50% has been tapped. In between the 50% and the 7-8 is your zone to bottom out here on ADA, right? Regardless if it's going to be 50% or golden pocket or 7-8, right? You might form a double zigzag, a complex correction. You got a zigzag down, zigzag up. You might form, a flat here, right? And then it gets off, a bit distracting, but ultimately you are looking for the rally in your wave 3 here at some point in the next coming weeks, give or take, maybe September. Looking good, guys, looking good, just because the latest move up from June to July looks textbook impulsive. You got 2 1-2s and you got 2 4-5s. How good can it get? Easy peasy count with the biggest volume in the middle, wave 3. Yeah, it's just it can't get any more clear than this. I would be interested in a swing long position on ADA, or actually buying some spot ADA here in between the 60-70 cent level, because this is also confirming that it is a correction. This latest move up looks impulsive. Holy crap, this might be the first leg 1 and 2, and we're looking for a third wave to develop in the next coming weeks. And then then you miss the train, right? Then you miss the train. Then I didn't get in because I didn't believe in an altcoin season or whatever. ADA to hit $1.30 plus, high probability. The low could definitely be in here for ADA, just because the latest move has it. Looks very good impulsively, guys. Very, very good count right there. Very clear count. And a higher low in this zone is highly likely for ADA. Between the 50% at 72 cents to the 58 cents as the ultimate bearish case scenario. So looking pretty good for ADA here, guys. Anybody that is interested in trading, guys, ADA, Bitcoin, any other altcoins, we do have some awesome deals, guys, down below on these exchanges. You got Bluffin with 20% cashback, guys. Bluffin has been the favorite of the whales. I can see massive volume. Okay, big whales are actually signing up. People with lots of money. It is the favorite from people with big money, guys, to trade on Bluffin. You get 20% cashback for all of those people that want. Also, another deal, you do have Weeks, okay? Weeks has this $1,000 airdrop on Ethereum for free, guys. Download the app right away. Sign up down below. You get 25% fee reduction as well when you sign up, guys. It's the 4th link down below. There's ADA. There's hundreds of altcoins there. Only for the responsible traders, okay? Only for the responsible traders. If you don't know what you're doing, you better well not trade, okay? Fair enough, Lucifer. Much love to you, brother. What's going on? How is everybody doing? Much love. Happy birthday, Andy. Craig Davis, thank you very much, guys, for the birthday wishes. Much love to everyone, okay? Thank you very much for smashing up that like button. Tío Pepe, ¿qué pasa, de bebé? Pepito? Yeah, Pepe. Can you check Aero out, Andy, says Yujin. Yeah, we can take a few altcoins. My spot bags can't be traded. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I do have a spot bag, and I do have, a trading, account, several trading accounts. It all depends, right? You need to diversify. I shared my portfolio today. I had to do the recount of the portfolio, guys, today. This is the portfolio, my portfolio currently. In dollar value, right? Some of them were slightly higher, some of them were overtaking, some of them have moved down. Today I did the recount, and that's the portfolio. Without counting stable coins, of course. Let's go right away through the comment section. ICP, let's go ICP. ICP is the one that actually added. I've been looking at the dollar value of ICP. I actually bought ICP last week. ICP has the chance, unfortunately, to revisit the lows. It has the chance. I would only be happy to buy more if it gets to $4. Okay? That would be a 20% correction almost. I would only be happy to buy a little bit more. Scoop up a few more thousand ICP at $4 just as the last opportunity for this to reverse, guys. If not, we go broke and we all go and live under a bridge together. We'll do some fires. We'll tell some stories and we'll all be together, guys. Don't worry, right? We can camp in the desert. Whoever's in Dubai, right? We'll drink tap water and we'll just say it was a good experience, right? So we can just do that, guys, right? What do we need to worry about? We're alive. So you need to risk it for the biscuit. So I'm risking it for the biscuit here on ICP. This is like all in. I didn't even have ICP in my portfolio last year, and it's currently 5% of my entire crypto portfolio. 5%. And this is from aggressive accumulation throughout this zone over here. I did actually have ICP, sorry, in 2024, my bad, but it wasn't that much, about 1%. I went a little bit heavy here. I went a bit heavy. So the main reason why ICP has a chance in taking out the low of this range is the movement up. There's no proper impulse. It does look a little bit corrective, unfortunately. So you might think, why did you buy a bunch over here? I would be happy to buy another 2-3%, guys, if we dip down here. It's going to be my bag that I accumulate aggressively. And my target for ICP for the next coming months is recovering to plus $20. So it's a 4x, and I'm very, very happy for a 4x. That is my target. That's when I will start taking profit. Till then, guys, I'm riding it to zero. Riding it to zero if needed. If this company collapses, this crypto project, whatever happens, we ride it to zero, guys. Lost a bunch of money. But the chart looks amazing. The project looks amazing. They do have, lots of volume, TVL, and they do have income, guys. So they are generating income. They are building up. The blockchain is being used. It's top-notch AI blockchain project as well. Make sure to do your research on ICP. And it's one of those altcoins, one of those high cap coins that I'm just, happy. I'm not looking anymore for any 50x's, guys, or 100x's or any of that. I'm just looking for realistic targets, okay? Realistic. It's a realistic 4-5x to hit $20-25 in the next coming months. Looking for that ultimate third wave push to the upside, just because we only have one wave and an impulse here. One wave and an impulse. This is missing a wave. You got your 3-wave move down. It's missing a wave. It's missing a wave in this bull market that we are in, right? I mean, we have had an awesome bull market for Bitcoin, but some altcoins really not doing much. Ethereum picking up, but still at not at all-time high from the previous cycle, right? So we're missing a leg here on ICP, and I went a little bit heavy on this altcoin. It's my 4th largest bag, 3rd altcoin, if we do not count Bitcoin. Gonna give it a chance, guys. If we do get all the way up here, I will be making several $100,000 on this crypto only investment. I mean, let's see, guys. We need to take the chance. We need to get out on the FOMO. Andy, is Solana still alive? I never had Solana, guys. Never had Solana in my portfolio, and I do actually, regret a little bit not having Solana. It is what it is. I had a friend of mine that was talking about buy Solana throughout 2022 and 2023. This did a 20x already, right? When people say, when is the altcoin season going to happen, guys? The bottom formation for a lot of the altcoins, especially these good projects, high cap coins or L1s, blockchain projects, right? Holy moly, you know, this did a 20x from the lows in 2 years, right? This is an insane rally. You know, this, you know, altcoin season has happened, guys, in front of our eyes. What are you talking about? We know that plus 99% of crypto projects just end up bottoming, you know, going to lows and not recovering ever again. Never an altcoin season, guys. And the altcoin season happened in front of our eyes on the cryptos that we did not buy on the lows, right? At least I'm talking to myself here. I mean, I'm happy with my portfolio, Bitcoin. You know, I mean, I am in profit overall because most of my bags have been Bitcoin, right? Chainlink is doing okay. It's about a, you know, 3x from average entry point. It's okay. It's in the gains. All of the rest of them have done crap, guys. All of the rest of them are rubbish. All of the rest of them are absolute BS. So this is why Bitcoin, Ethereum, a couple of high caps that can, you know, make you that 4 or 5x is the way to go. Unless you bought Pepe or some, you know, or you bought Pengu, guys. I'm not sure what Pengu is doing, but I don't have any Pengu, any Dogecoin. I don't have any of these ones, guys. And Pengu had an awesome rally in the last few weeks, guys. It did a 4 or 5x. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Should have put my money on Pengu, guys, back in June, because it did a 4 or 5x almost from these the recent lows. But it is what it is. Bitcoin just holding the 7-8. Not much more to say about Bitcoin, legends. Much love to everybody. Funny Bunny, Bitcoin most likely breaking down. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍 on the move. You know, 𝗖𝗿𝗍𝗽, I did have 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽 back in the previous cycle, guys. 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽 it's a kind of blockchain that runs on the browser. I remember doing some research on this one, and it is supposedly money. It's supposedly money. And I think it's a blockchain that runs on the browser. The world's most accepted crypto. I'll have a look at this one. I remember buying 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽 in the previous cycle. Does it run on the browser, or if I'm mistaken on another project? But 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽 is like Bitcoin. Supposedly it is money as well. And it's literally at the lows of the bear market. I'll do a bit of more research and see what's going on here with the roadmap, investors, see what 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗽 is all about in this new cycle. Interesting project. Supposedly it is money. It was built to be money. Come on, Andy. ICP has room to go further up, says Curtis. Absolutely. I mean, no doubt. No doubt that ICP has a lot of room to go to much higher levels. Okay. But, yeah, without a doubt, it could be a wave 3. We're just skeptical here with the breakout. But without a doubt, ICP has a lot more room to go to higher levels, right? If we are going to develop a wave 3 on a proper altcoin season here, without a doubt, $50, $60 is without a doubt a scenario that could happen. I just want to stay on the safe side, guys, and take some profits, right? We all hard in taking profits. We all bad in taking significant profits. On the previous cycle, I only took 25% of profits. Back in April, I've said this all the time, and this was a lot of money already. This was a lot of money, but eventually, should have taken some more, right? And Chainlink, I didn't sell any Chainlink, and I did already have several thousand Chainlink back in the previous cycle. I did have thousands of Chainlink. And I remember having hundreds of thousands of dollars of profit here. And, riding it all the way down. You know, just that, you know, just, it's stupid, guys, right? It is stupid to believe that, you know, not selling any, right? It was my biggest holding back then. And what I did here is buy more. So I need to get out, guys. We need to get out at some point. And, you know, eventually this would be a very devastating. You know, I am confident that we are going to be likely hitting $30 just because this movement down on Chainlink looks corrective. It's very, very corrective price action. I was skeptical about forming an ABC here, but ever since we developed this movement down throughout, you know, March and April, I'm pretty confident that this is corrective. We can get the counts on the next live stream. So 112 on the formation here, bring it on. Bullish market structure throughout the last few weeks, months, bring it on. It's the chance. It's the chance. So, but we always want higher levels, right? We always want higher prices. We need to take profits, guys. I'm not taking the chance anymore. You know, I'll have massive profits above $30 on Chainlink, and massive profits on ICP above $20. You know, it's just about time to cash out. We'll have to leave a moon bag eventually, right? We always want to leave a moon bag. And, you know, the projections look good. We don't know if it's going to be a third wave or a C wave in this case for ICP. But start taking profits above $20, right? I'll be selling 20% or 30%, right? And leave some moon bags. We'll be analyzing the charts as we go, guys, on the channel. If it looks impulsive, if we're looking bearish, if not, or, you know. Unsubscribe for not paying attention, Doge holders. Andy, check Dogecoin, please. Violations, I will do that for you right now, my man. Much love. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍 on the move. Yeah, looks like 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 was wanting to push up here. I like these wedgie downtrendy structures. They are reversal, you know, it's reversal activity here. Wedgie downtrend momentum. I'll take a look at 𝗖𝗍𝘍𝗽 later on today, guys. I might buy something else. I do still hold cash. If 𝗖𝗍𝘍𝗽 convinces me on the project, we are at very rock bottom levels. Slow downtrend, ready for the reversal potentially. Let's take a look at Dogecoin here for my man Violations. What's going on with Dogecoin? Who has Dogecoin? The #1 meme coin. What I'm more interested on Dogecoin is, yeah, the value area low here holding like a beast of this consolidation throughout 2025. What I want to see about Dogecoin is for this to be a possible 112, right? That's what we want to believe here. And the latest move is going to give us that information. Interesting. I would say that this is an expanding fifth wave, because you have your first leg to the upside from the lows. You have your large consolidation. So, you know, you're labeling this as your wave 2, sideways momentum. You're not breaking to the upside successfully till this move over here, which breaks out with an increased amount of volume. Then you have your 3-wave structure right over here. And then you got your 5th wave here. You know what's interesting about this, Dogecoin being the #1 meme coin, is that you have the retail participating late. This is why you get expanding 5th waves. And this is what we are speculating on Bitcoin on the higher time frame, that we could be in an expanding 5th wave. Because if you do break out from 130, 140 and 150 and you start going a little bit parabolic, there will be there could be that moment where retail, and not only retail, banks and everybody is FOMOing in, saying, holy shit, you know, this is actually not stopping. We need to participate. The dollar is crumbling down. Currencies are crumbling down. I don't trust real estate. I don't trust gold. It's too high. And, you know, could we create that FOMO stage if the price really breaks out in a third wave here? And that would be with the speculation of forming a fifth wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the fifth wave is still kind of developing. And we're probably inside of the third wave still. Third wave still. Fuck's sake. I'm pressing too many buttons here. Right, and you're still in that third wave, which really just rallies and breaks out 150, 170, you name it, right? We did talk about there is a chance. Okay, I don't like it too much, but yesterday, you know, skeptical, but reanalyzing the situation with a question from someone, I would give it a chance for a 1-2-1-2 here. I don't like the second 1-2 too much. It looks very three wavy. I could not lie. But we would give it a chance. Market structure is still bullish. Double 1-2 here. Inside of your third wave still. You're looking for a third wave here. Double 1-2 is only on the formation. We need to give it a chance, guys. It's Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, when it's bullish. So, yeah, coming with that general idea here on the expanding fifth wave that did happen here on Dogecoin. Is because Dogecoin is the most famous meme coin, right? And when you do get that, you know, rally here, you know, people participate late, right? They participate late. It does look impulsive. It looks pretty solid. This latest move up, and of course, the level that you want it to bounce from is the in between the 50% and the 7.8. I mean, this latest move up. Man, the 0.88 is giving that. Look at this. I mean, the 0.88, right? When you retrace too much, you kind of get in doubt, right? If you are going to get that bounce. So I think for altcoins, they are cheeky on the retracements, right? After a major leg up, after a downtrend, after a major leg up, the retracements are cheeky. I mean, look how deep that retracement is from the low. So now is the, you know, we like deep retracements on altcoins. So golden pocket at the moment, yeah, maybe 7.8 is going to be the zone, right? Golden pocket 7.8, worst case scenario 0.88, but this would have to be the zone that it does bottom out in the next coming weeks for Dogecoin, right? Regardless, one more low, we're going to have to see some bottom formation. Local bullish market structure to be confident in that next wave to the upside. So, you know, local bullish market structure to be developed regardless with another low or not, and then be ready for that reversal, just like here, right? This kind of price action right over here, that kind of looks like a bear flag, right? But you need to go with this impulse, corrective move to the 7.8, 0.88, right? Really getting deep. Same scenario here. We are leaning on a double 1-2. This looks very impulsive. Now, you might think on the higher time frame, don't you think that this is an ABC? Well, this is why it is important to take into consideration the movement to the downside, right? Because imagine believing on a double 1-2 here. And this is only a bear flag, right? This is a bear flag. You know, what are you talking about? A double 1-2. This is going to break down, right? Yeah, we're eventually not looking at that. We are looking at the movement down to confirm, right? This is why we need to zoom out. Insanely bullish move up here. Big impulsive move. Big move up. Still a higher low, bullish market structure. When you do see the corrective move to the downside, the movement down, it is actually a confirmation that it is a correction. You got your first leg down with a low, the bounce with the high right there, lower high, and then grind to the downside, right? You're grinding to the downside here. 3-wave structure. And what is interesting here is that you overlapped with that pivot 1. So you're invalidating a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and wave 4. Your wave 4 has, if this were to be your wave 4, that bearish channel, you're overlapping with that wave 1. That is the first good major bullish sign of this structure. First big major bullish sign of this structure right over here. For this to be a 3-waver. This gives you more confirmation. The bounce up here from July, gives more confirmation that this is a 3-waver. And what you're looking at here potentially is a multiple 1-2 setup to break up in a 3rd wave. And finally get to $1 Dogecoin, which is the target that the Dogecoin lovers are waiting for. Dogecoin lovers are waiting for $1 Dogecoin. And we got about 70 cents or so on the previous cycle, right? 70 odd cents on the previous cycle. Let's go Doge to $1 in the next coming months. Come on, we are getting that first, we're getting the signs of strength, the bullish market structure change, bear market. It's just building up. Let's go Dogecoin. Much love to everybody in the comment section. I'm with you. My link from March 2020 average is like $2.2. I didn't sell. I bought more last October. I'm looking for it to get to $30. Baby Genius, same target zone, at least $30. I do think that all-time high is very possible for Chainlink, but I'm skeptical just in case we form an expanding diagonal here and it fails to go to higher levels and it's bear market for, a year and then maybe another blast off in recovery in 2027, 2028. I just want to take profit here. I don't know if it's going to break out in a 3rd wave or it's going to be an expanding diagonal. I don't know. I'm not taking the chance. I know it's highly likely we get up here, so I'm going to just take some profits. And you know why? The first, when I got into crypto in 2018 and Chainlink came up from 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍, guys. Do you know who 𝗖𝗿𝗍𝗍 is? Apparently he's a cryptocurrency guru and he's shilled so many different altcoins and 99% of them have gone at shit, guys. Like the worst ever. And Chainlink was his favorite pick. This was back in 2019 when I already was a year in crypto, and I thought, somebody told me about this 𝗖𝗿𝗍𝗍 guy. It's a bald guy. I'm not sure if you know him, guys. And he did this kind of top 5 to 5 million kind of, shilling, the guru cryptocurrency on YouTube or Facebook. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I saw him. But that's where I discovered Chainlink. And then eventually I did my research and, saw everything that Chainlink could provide, in the blockchain space, providing real world data, right, as an oracle on verification, right? And I thought this project is awesome, right? If blockchain technology is going to thrive, we need an oracle. We need this kind of crypto project. And anyway, it was just a story on how I got to know Chainlink. It was because of 𝗖𝗿𝗍𝗍𝗍. Anybody that is BTC finally double bottom. Yeah, possibly yes, my man. This is a very interesting zone that I'm looking at to get into an epic long position. We have a naked point of control that could be tapped at 111 or it's double bottom. Ultimately, it might recover from here. If we get bullish market structure in the next coming hours, I would be happy to say it might be a higher low here already and jump in later on a trade. But yeah, for the moment, we're moving down. 7-8 is struggling to hold. I would rather see a bit of bullish market structure and then we can participate later on, guys. It doesn't matter. You don't need to try and catch the bottom. You don't need to, okay? You need to get a bit of more information, get a sign of strength. and that could be the confirmation. If not, we move down and we create that chop here at the lows, and I will be interested in longing here. Stop loss beneath the low. It can get wicky, it can get choppy, but ultimately we are looking for a reversal, guys. It's just I decided to go down. Well, down we go. What can we say? You know, there will be an opportunity regardless. If we get that sign of strength, I'm longing the higher low. Or, you know, and I've explained this throughout the live stream today. This is a three-wave structure. If this bounce overlaps the pivot low and, you know, it gets, you know, to the 0.88 Fibonacci, it's no longer a wave 3. You know, I'm no longer looking for a wave 4. And I realize that an ABC is the most likely scenario. And then obviously you're participating on the first signs of bullish market structure here. The 3-wave is done. Now the overall question, is it going to be 3, 4, 5? And then obviously if it's 5, you're looking for a double bottom reversal. Okay, that's good. If it is not going to be a 4 and a 5, we bounce up and we start overlapping the pivot low that we formed today on the drop. Well, then this no longer is a continuation bearish impulse, and we're looking for the reversal. So, you know, it's going to be a winner regardless if we take out the lows or not. So that's a little bit of what I'm looking at the moment here. And I just want to give much love to everybody. What CVD like, says Pac-Man, my brother. Much love to you, my man. I love you so much, legend. Thank you very much for joining the stream. An OG here of a moderator. What is CVD telling us? CVD, unfortunately, is these guys on Bybit, man. They do not give up. These bulls that are joining in. We've been forming consistent bearish CVD divergence on Bybit. I mean, Bybit has been forming higher highs on the CVD and lower highs on price action, and it's currently forming that right now. Also in this little range, higher highs, lower highs, right there. It might chop the lows and try and reverse. But yeah, we're getting the bearish CVDs on Bybit. So they are longs entering on Bybit. No, we want bears. We want people to short down here, not long. So they can get trapped and we can eat their liquidity. But it's not the case on Bybit. They're short, they're longing down here. So bearish CVDs, we're probably gonna go and take the low, guys, if it does not hold. Legends, thank you very much for joining the stream. Remember that you do have the most exclusive bonuses down below, okay, for either weeks or for bluffing. Bluffing, you do have it in the pinned comment, okay? Why Bybit is so interesting. They just always ruin the show, okay? It's CVD divergence regardless. You got the pinned comment, guys, for bluffing. You got the biggest deal available, which is 20% cashback on your initial deposit. You do have weeks as well as another exchange. You can choose any of both of them because they do have, you know, they are not requiring any personal information, right? They just require an email and a password. A lot of people like that, okay? And you do got the biggest deals down below. There's $1,000 position on Ethereum, okay? Airdrop that you can claim straight away while you download the app as well for weeks, okay? When you sign up, you eligible directly for those bonuses. And I am doing a 15% discount, guys, for anybody that wants to join the Legends Pro. There's daily updates every single day, possible setup scenarios. Yesterday there was a good short setup on an altcoin that went very well. You got the Legends Pro community. Join the Telegram today, as it is my birthday, and we're giving that 15% discount, okay, to join the Legends Pro. Legends, much love to everybody. Sin Games, Pac-Man, much love. You know what I'm looking here for Bitcoin. Successful breakdown to the downside. Highly unlikely in my opinion. Thank you very much for joining and smashing up the like button. Much love to everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.